The topic that I want to talk about, I'm not a medical practitioner. I'm not an expert on it. I'm basing it on my own experience. I'm basing it on speaking to a medical practitioner. I'm basing it on the information I got speaking to my friends and other women. This is the issue that is starting to affect a lot of women, and according to me, I feel like it's becoming a crisis, which I think we are sitting on. It is gonna be a time bomb. It's an issue that in the olden days we used to think that it's few women in between will be affected by this medical condition, but nowadays it has become so normal for women to have this condition. You find that if there are 5 friends, 3 of them had experienced this issue. Is the issue of fibroids. I feel like it is becoming an issue that needs attention, and it needs education. I believe that a girl child needs to be made aware of their body and their reproductive system and how their body can turn around and misbehave. And I believe that going to a gynae needs to become a norm to a girl child so that they can be checked. Most of us, when we grew up, you find that we used to have period pains. Even at our age, we suffer from period pains. Some, you find that they have heavy flow and everything, and the parents will just will give a child a water bottle or painkillers and everything, but those just numb the situation. It doesn't make it better. With the issue of fibroids, the problem that most women who have experienced who developed fibroids and they had operation doesn't guarantee that the fibroids are not gonna come back. Sometimes the fibroids come back even aggressively. And the other thing that I find that doctors, the gynae fail to tell the patient is that in some women, depending where the fibroids are, because it differs. I don't want it to make it too much formal and to say all the names where the fibroids can be at, but there are certain places where if the fibroids are there, and when that wound, that operation is healing, it might close the fallopian tube, and a woman will know that her fallopian tube have been closed because of the healing of the fibroids. And the doctor will only mention it because after fibroids you need to go for checkups and thorough checkup, and the check is everything is okay. It's only then I find that the gynae now wants to check if the fallopian tube are blocked. And when you ask, guys, me, I'm an inquisitive person. I'm that inquisitive patient that when you are treating me or you are doing any procedure on me, I need to understand why, what caused it, what is the solution. I just don't sit there and the doctor says we're gonna do this and do that. And what my gynae said, you find, like I said, when the wound from the operation is healing, it may close the fallopian tube, and they say fallopian tube is closed, is blocked because of that scar, will close that opening that has to be part of the reproductive system. But if you find that it's a woman who doesn't have those facilities, who doesn't have resources, who doesn't ask those questions, and the doctor can find if it's blocked. I'm not saying it gets blocked all the time. It's a possibility. That's why they always want to check it. The issue of fibroids, I've asked why it seems like it's more prone to black women. And what I was told is that they do not think, why is it prone to more black women and now? And the doctors say it's not that it is now. They believe it always been there, but data was not collected, or not enough data was collected for them to refer it to. Then in my mind, I'm also thinking that when black people used to say girl child must not eat certain kind of foods, we used to view it as a girl child being oppressed. We used to view it as they want to spoil a boy, the sons, to enjoy the luxury of this life. Whereas food's got a lot of hormones. And women who are still, they need hormones for their reproductive system and everything, they easily get affected by such things, food and all that. Women who are in their menopause, usually they don't have fibroids, or when they reach that stage, because they don't have I forgot that hormone women need, that is feeding, because fibroids feeds on certain hormone. Because they are no longer producing that hormone, the fibroids may end up dying on their own without them having to have operation. Which means we as women, we have to look at the kind of food that we eat. We need to go back at our culture and how women, the kind of food that they used to eat. Sometimes we undermine our culture and we think it's backwards, and we think women were being oppressed. But I really think some of the rules, like which a woman must not eat, like eggs and all that, it was to protect women. Then my question will be, say, what about the traditional medicine? Because I believe God gave us the plants, the trees, the roots and everything for eating, for feeding and for healing. What are the herbalists and traditional healers saying about the issue of fibroids? Do they know how to treat it? Because what nature usually do, it doesn't treat, it heals. Most of the time, traditional medicine. And when I say traditional medicine, I mean natural medicine. Because every medicine that is Western, the idea stems from, natural medicine. That you need to understand it in your mind. And if you thought in your mind that Western medicine is some powder and some experiment that was done in the lab and it didn't have a root where it comes from, I ask you, Bazalwane, to go and educate yourself. Because some of you view natural medicine as being barbaric, whereas the Western medicine, it comes from traditional medicine. So my question is that those who knows traditional medicine, the herbalists, the traditional healers, what is their opinion and their role they can play when it comes to the issue of fibroids? Because from my point of view, it is becoming a crisis. It is becoming a crisis. It's not normal for women to be having operations. It's not normal so much that women are struggling with fertility. It's not normal for women to be having heavy menstrual periods where they cannot even become productive. Sometimes they become anemic because of the heavy flow that they experience, which they cannot have a normal productive days when they are out those days. And besides that, there are many other issues like endometriosis that women experience. But today, let's talk about fibroids. Today, we're talking about fibroids. And you find on social media, there is so much information. No, this thing heals. There are many groups talking about fibroids. Yes, we need to do research on our own, the kind of food that we can eat, because I do believe food is not only for eating, it's for healing. But be cautious and be careful not to just take any medicine, because people, when they see that there's a need, they can take an advantage for it. And fibroids, most of the time, it's hereditary. If the mother experience it, if the aunts experience it, bomani, bomemuru, you find that the girls in that family are gonna have the same issue. But the problem, our parents don't talk about such issues. They are not open enough to talk about these issues. I don't know why. It's only maybe some, I'm not saying all parents, I'm not saying that. My mom is very open. I knew about fibroids long before I had them. And women don't really, I don't know. It's, there was a time I remember at work, with the time I had my operation, I was not the only one. I was not the only one who was on leave for, I think, was it 2 months or 3 months? Almost 3 months. There was another colleague who also had the same, went on operation on the same issue. So do you understand that this thing is becoming an issue, a problem? It needs to be, I don't think it's an education that has to be at medical school. I think it's a condition that needs to be at classroom level from secondary. That is just my opinion. Because a lot of black women are having fibroids issues. And my question is that the herbalists and the traditional healers, where is their voice when it comes to this issue? Why aren't they open up to talk about this issue? This thing, that's the other thing that makes people also be skeptical about natural medicine, because those who for knowledge, they don't want to share it openly. They always want to work somewhere at the back, where else that information is needed. In the open, it shouldn't be, I don't think it should be a secret. It shouldn't be a secret. And even where you practice and where you do your medicine, it shouldn't be a place where people have to be they're like witches in the middle of the midnight to go and consult. Because this is traditional medicine. I don't know your experience. I don't know in your family if there's an issue of fibroids. I don't know if you know a friend. If you had fibroids, did you manage to get them healed naturally? Did you have operation or operations? Did they also affect the other things in your life? These are the conversations we need to have more. We need to have them more. Because according to me, it is a crisis.